welcome everyone to this fourth edition of QMat Cafe, Academic and Industrial. So today we have Dr. Reina Camacho. She's from Venezuela. She's a researcher in CNRS, LPNHE in Paris. And she also is part of the CEVALE2VE and LA-CoNGA Physics projects, which are Latin American European projects. Dr. Camacho, she completed her undergrad in physics in Universidad de los Andes in Venezuela in 2008. Then she moved to work in the Latin American European network the following year, and then he started her PhD in University of Blaise Pascal in Paris, where she finished in 2012. And then she did a postdoc in the University of Chicago and the University of Geneva. She's currently now, as I said, a researcher in CNRS, and she's one of the members of the collaboration of Atlas in CERN, Switzerland and France. She's part of this group of CEVALE2VE and LA-CoNGA, which, as I said, are projects that try to popularize and to teach high energy physics and particle physics in Latin American countries, together working with European countries and institutes. She's also a promoter of women in STEM. So today, yeah, we are going to have a talk from her. So thank you very much for being here, and yeah, I hope everyone enjoy. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, really, for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here and discuss with you these activities on the learning and this digital education side of my work. So as Manuel mentioned, I'm a particle physicist, so you will see a bit of particle physics here, but mostly I will be discussing about virtual research and learning networks. So first, let me start by introducing this concept that sometimes is not generally known. So I will introduce what a virtual research and learning network is, what is the relationship with digital education, and why it is important. So in the current information era, the higher education in particular is rapidly becoming globally distributed. It's not anymore the case where the universities are working separately, individually, especially when we are talking about science and higher education. It's not the case anymore where the scientists and the teachers are only working individually or with the groups in the university. So science is becoming, as well as higher education, is becoming globally distributed. And this also makes that the links between university, research, academia, and society are becoming stronger, okay? So we have knowledge generation, deployment, application, and transfer of technology and transfer of knowledge taking place in the same physical and social context. So sometimes when we talk about digital education or online learning, we can imagine ourselves doing a course alone in front of the computer in one of the different platforms that exist. But the concept of a virtual research and learning network is a little bit more general than that, okay? We use e-learning or online learning, but just as a tool for something that is much bigger. So a virtual research and learning network is a multi-institutional participation. It includes synchronous and asynchronous online engagement. We put a lot of emphasis in the academic and the research networking, in the resources sharing. And when I talk about resources, it's not only about educational resources and methods, pedagogical methods, but also resources like scientific instrumentation, okay? And one of the very appealing things about the VRLN, or the virtual research and learning networks, is the cost effectiveness of these networks. So let's define this network as a network of teachers and researchers that effectively work together on an infrastructure that is rich in information and communication technologies that we call ICT, where data, software, tools, research facilities, instrumentation, lab resources, teaching resources, and information resources are shared among all the members of this network, okay? So as you can imagine, when we are talking about small institutions with little resources and institutions, universities in developing countries, they can highly profit and take advantage of participating or creating and participating in these virtual research and learning networks. Okay, and the three main objectives that we have in mind when we are talking about this network or creating this kind of networks are the following: accessibility, modernization of the education system, and also internationalization. So accessibility to what? So first, accessibility to a variety of concepts and techniques that we cannot find in the standard textbooks, okay? And you might say, okay, I cannot find it in the textbooks, but I could find it on internet, for example. And it might be true, but the fact that you are in a network makes that you can discuss about these topics, that you can discuss and talk and work with people that are developing these concepts or that work with these concepts in their everyday research life. So this is the appealing of this kind of networks. We have accessibility also to cutting edge experimental infrastructures. And one important thing that we can keep in mind is that even if each institution and group that is participating in the network doesn't have, even if they don't have the resources needed, or if they don't have the staff, critical mass for participating in one experiment or developing a particular project, individually they don't have it, but together they might have, okay? And together they become stronger because we can see this network as a unique entity where all the resources are available and shared among all the participants. So the second part, or the second important point, is the modernization. So by modernization, we talk about modernization of the higher education system through the use of ICT, through the use of open educational resources, through connectivity, improving the connectivity in the institutions that are participating, through the acquisition of digital skills. And by digital skills, we are not talking about the technical proficiency that it involves, but is talking about innovation, about information and data content, about teaching, learning, about communication, collaboration, and participation. Modernization also through the use and the development of new learning methods that needs to be adapted to this environment that is completely different than the environment that we have in the classroom. And all of this is important to create capacity building to build the capacity in the institutions that are participating, and for the sustainability of any project that we are developing within social network. The third point is the internationalization. So we have institutions and groups in the same network that can come from different countries, different continents, cultures, having different backgrounds, but they are working in the same network, okay? This, of course, increase the diversity in our projects, in particular the diversity of in STEM, which is one of the topics that is very close to my heart. And the other important point is that we are training the new generation in science and technology in STEM topics already within a collaborative international environment. So the new generation already have this mindset of collaboration and being able to work in an international diverse environment. So it's been many years that we are discussing about the importance of virtual research and learning networks. But to be fair, especially in the time of COVID, in the last months, everything that is related with the use of ICT, information and communication technologies, and digital education has, of course, increased significantly. Basically, COVID, or this pandemic situation, made the use of digital education a necessity, and we were not prepared, to be honest. In particular, the universities and the institutions in developing countries were not prepared for this, because the connectivity in some region was not good enough, because we didn't know the techniques, because we were not prepared regarding the strategies of digital education, etc. Just to give you a few numbers in Latin America, because the projects that I will talk about and discuss are a network, an European Latin American network. Just to give you an idea, the recent PISA 2018 exam confirmed that in the region, in Latin America, a 15-year-old in that region is 3 years behind in computing skills with respect to a student in an OECD country. On the other hand, as I was also mentioning, in many places in the Latin American region, the internet infrastructure and the connectivity is limited. Many don't have even a computer at home. So these, of course, are the challenges that we face when talking about the virtual research and learning networks. So now that we know the why and the what, let's discuss two examples. I mean, how these networks work in practice, how they are created, what are the strategies that they use, what kind of activities they can develop. So I will discuss two cases, the CEVALE2VE network, and also the LACoNGA Physics network, that is a network that has been recently created. So these two networks have two things in common. First is high energy physics, second is Latin America. So why starting or why creating a network like this in high energy physics? So let's recognize our bias. I'm a particle physicist. I work in high energy physics since 10 years ago. So it was natural for me and for my colleagues to start something in this field, of course. But more than that, there is this idea, the beautiful idea of particle physics is being a community interested in understanding the universe, the constituents of the universe, and also the interaction between those constituents. And this is something that this kind of questions, this kind of interest is something that is very related to the human nature. Who haven't not asked themselves, what are we made of? How the universe was created? How did it evolve at any point of our life, right? So these questions are always appealing, especially to the young generations. The other point is that most of the current research in high energy physics is based on big international collaboration and big infrastructures. So within this field, we have already a lot of years, a lot of time of experience working in networks that use digital technologies, information and communication technologies. So just to give you an example, the experiment or the collaboration that where I work is a collaboration of 4,000 scientists and engineers from 181 institutions from 38 different countries. So I'm very used to working in environments like video, like Zoom, been working remotely and working with people in different parts, in different continents. So this is for us, the tools that are used within the virtual research and learning technologies, they are known, we are used to them. The other thing is the importance of technology transfer in this area. So there are many of the technologies that we use and that we develop, they are later on transferred to other areas like medicine, electronics, big data. And this this makes stronger, actually, the link between the research, the industry, and the society. Why Latin America? Then again, I need to admit my bias. I'm from Venezuela. And our pain, because it's something that all the group and the participants that are working in this network, our willing or our hope is that there is a development, a technology and scientific development in the region. In particular, experimental high energy physics was non-existent, almost non-existent field in Latin America until the end of the 20th century. Afterwards, there were a series of initiatives, mainly driven by Latin American and European collaboration, that changed this situation. Just to name a few that you probably know, the Pierre Auger Observatory in Argentina that studies cosmic rays actually increased a lot the number of people working in high energy physics, in experimental high energy physics in the region. Then we had other programs called Helen and ePlanet that actually allow several institutions and several Latin American countries to start contributing to experiments at CERN. Just to give you an example, I was one of the person that participated in Helen. Like, my career in particle physics started because of one of these virtual learning and research network, Helen. So personally, I recognize the importance of having this kind of programs and this kind of networks for the development of a particular scientific area, for the personal development of many young scientists in the different regions. Afterwards, there were several binational or multinational projects that also contributed to increasing the interest and contributing to increase the number of particle physicists in the region, and France, in particular, the CNRS, actively participating in this initiative. This allowed that right now, HEP, or high energy physics, is well established in, let's say, the four biggest countries in Latin America: Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Mexico. So we have several universities in those countries participating in big collaboration in high energy physics with experienced and recognized researchers coming from those countries. And in those countries, usually the new generation of students are locally trained. The situation is not the same in other countries. It changed a lot. Actually, the situation is very variable in other countries in the region. Like, some institutes participate in HEP experiments, or at least express interest in participating. However, as we were discussing before, there is a subcritical human and material resources, usually. On the other hand, we have a young generation that have a lot of potential and also a lot of eagerness to learn and to participate in this field, but other fields also. So this is just to tell you a little bit of the story in the region related to particle physics, because I will start talking about CEVALE, which was a virtual, or is a virtual research and learning community network that was created in 2014. But the story of particle physics in Latin America started much, much before. But it was in 2014 that some colleagues, we got together, some colleagues we were a bit around the world. We were just finishing our PhD, doing our postdocs, and we wanted to keep a connection with the region. We wanted to keep contributing to the academic development in Latin America. And we got together with professors in the region in order to promote the education and research in high energy physics. Initially, we started working with Venezuelan institutions and Colombian institutions. Now the effort have grown, and we have a regional effort with key members from Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, and Ecuador participating in the team. And not only in high energy physics, but also communities in astronomy and mathematics also join the effort and are participating in the network. So the main objective of CEVALE2VE is education and outreach, awareness of opportunities for the new generations in the region, create networks and collaborations, and the modernization of education through the use of e-learning tools. And just to give you an example of the kind of things that we use, things that simple that you know, Skype, Google Hangouts, Moodle, open data from different collaborations, YouTube. And here you have the community, just so you can put some faces to the project. Right now, the community, as expected from a virtual research and learning community, we are all around the world. Actually, many of us, we are in Europe, others working with North American University, and many others in Latin America also. So we have 3 pillars of activities: education, outreach, and policy. In the case of education, one of the main outcomes that we have is a postgraduate course of Introduction to Particle Physics. It's a 60-hour virtual course that last year had the 6th edition already, so 6 years in a row that we are giving this course. More than 120 students have participated in the course, and in 2019, just to give you an idea, we had 40 students coming from Guatemala, Peru, Ecuador, Mexico, Brazil, Chile, Venezuela, and Colombia. We also organize data science workshop and hackathons. And there is also the activity of supervision of bachelor and master students by members of the community. In the case of outreach, we have given a number of public seminars and career and opportunity sessions to the students. We include also within our activities virtual visits to experiments at CERN. We participate in the International Masterclass in Particle Physics, and since 2016 we established a collaboration with the ICTP, which is the International Center for Theoretical Physics in Trieste, Italy. They are one of our allies, like CNRS and CERN, and every year we participate in a program that they have that is called Physics Without Frontiers. We organize road shows in several countries, and we organize with them the road shows in Latin America once per year. On the pillar of policy, the first is collaboration and networks. So as I mentioned, CERN, CNRS, ICTP has become allies of the community. We also work in communicating the projects and the results to diplomatic members and to government of the different institutions that are participating in the program. Just to discuss the importance of promoting and supporting science in the region, discussing about the importance of not only particle physics but other fields that have a strong link between the industry and society, and discussing about the knowledge transfer that is an important part of our scientific duties. So we, as I mentioned, we have more than 120 students that have followed our courses, many more participating in the outreach activities. 20 students have participated in International School of High Energy Physics, 6 are following master programs currently, and 5 of them are following PhD programs in high energy physics currently, plus hundreds of hours of videos available to the public. So one of the things that allows the creation of this network and the partnership with ICTP and the program Physics Without Frontier was to visit our students in the different countries that were participating and taking the classes and participating in the outreach activities. So with Physics Without Frontier, we have organized activities in Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, and Uruguay. And it was interesting to see the commonalities in the educational systems in the region. Okay, so we saw that some of the structure of the educational system, but also some of the challenges in Colombia and Venezuela that were the countries which we started working at the beginning. Those challenges also presented in other countries in Latin America. We also saw a lot of potential in the region. We saw so many young scientists eager to learn, eager to continue their career in physics and in science. And we also saw an openness to the use of digital technology in several of the countries that we participated. We also saw challenges, of course. Not everything is pink color. The poor internet bandwidth and the service quality in some of the regions. Sometimes the student-student interactions with the network was not as active and as we were hoping. There were challenges also in the interactions between the structure and the students. And in this particular point, the partnership with the Physics Without Frontiers program was very useful because it allowed us to go to the institutions and interact with the students, to know them, to establish a relationship that makes much easier the interactions afterwards. And another challenge that we saw in some places was the fact that the student computer skills did not match the initial demands that we were expecting at the beginning. So we learned, we were inspired on one side, and on the other side we learned from the challenges, and we embarked in a new adventure that is called LACoNGA Physics. So let me present this project. LACoNGA Physics is an Erasmus Plus project funded by the European Commission's Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency. We have this virtual learning and research community is integrated by 11 universities from Latin America and Europe, together with academic and industrial partners. And the idea, again, is to contribute to the modernization, accessibility, and the internationalization of the higher education in Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Peru. So we have 2 universities in each one of these countries participating in the project. We have 2 other universities, so that made 8. Then we have 2 other universities in France, Université de Paris, to which this lab where I work is affiliated, and also the university in Toulouse. And we have 1 university in Germany, University of Dresden, that is also participating in this network. So how do we want to do that? How do we want to modernize and increase accessibility and improve the internationalization of the higher education in these countries? So what we are proposing with the CONGA is an e-learning platform of open access, interconnected instrumentation labs, a problem-solving oriented curriculum, and a mobility program between Latin American institutions, but also between Latin America and Europe for academic and industrial internships. So basically, the program that we are proposing is a 1-year master in the universities that are participating, following an e-learning approach and using digital education strategies. So the consortium, as I mentioned, we have 11 universities, but we have also other international research centers as partners and industrial centers. So let me share with you a video so you can see and meet the consortium.
11 universidades de América Latina y Europa unen esfuerzos para desarrollar una experiencia de aprendizaje especializado en física.
Suena bien porque no tenemos los recursos humanos en cada una de nuestras instituciones, pero entre todas sí. Cómo compartir esos recursos y cómo formar las nuevas generaciones de físicos es nuestro objetivo.
La física y la ciencia de datos son ciencias que permiten obtener una visión más amplia de los problemas y así acercan los avances del conocimiento a toda la sociedad.
En la forma tradicional, nuestros alumnos gastan mucho tiempo solo en desarrollar las herramientas, solo en aprender a utilizarlas.
En nuestro proyecto se trata, por supuesto, del acceso libre a nuestro contenido pedagógico, pero va más allá. Nuestros estudiantes utilizarán y desarrollarán herramientas informáticas de fuente abierta.
Suena bien porque formar a las nuevas generaciones de científicos y científicas en Latinoamérica es fundamental para el desarrollo de nuestra región.
La presencialidad remota nos permitirá expandir el concepto de universidad al de universalidad.
Suena bien.
So you saw some of the participants and our contacts in the different universities in Europe and also in Latin America. And here what you have is the different partners that we have. So you might recognize CNRS, CERN, DESI, ICTP, some of our partners. We have an important one, which is Red Clara. And Red Clara is a network that actually provides connectivity in Latin America for universities. So it's one of our main partners regarding the creation of the e-learning platform that we will need. We have KIND, which is one of the main enterprises for scientific instrumentation, at least in the field of high energy physics. And we have also some industrial partners like DBS Access and Frontier X Analytics. And this is because we are making a lot of emphasis in the creation of a profile of the student that is prepared, that is multidisciplinary, and is prepared to continue a career in academics, but is also prepared to have the skills, like technical skills and the soft skills, to go outside of academia and continue doing research outside of the academia. In particular, there is a strong component in data science. So the LACoNGA Physics started this year and is initially a 3 years project. We have 2 specializations for this 1 year program, either experimental high energy physics or complex system. And as I was mentioned, there are 3 axes or 3 focus. One is theory in these 2 areas, data science and scientific instrumentation. So one of the things that we are implementing this year is the possibility, because each university will have an instrumentation lab, but the idea is that these labs will be actually interconnected. So we can not only compare results between the different experiments and the different labs in the university, but also analyze data that has been taken in any of the universities. And this is already creating this sense of collaboration, international collaboration in the students. So as I was mentioned, Red Clara is a key partner in the development of the e-learning platform that we will be using in the project. They already have a lot of deployments ready to be used, like the authentication, the e-courses platform, and the computing resources. And we are working on implementing new resources like Jupyter Notebooks and Git-based versioning system. All the idea of the project is to follow a reproducible and open science and scientific hands-on approach. So we envision, and with this I will close, we envision that similar experiences are actually created in other fields, not only complex system and particle physics. We envision that the use of technology and education environments enhances the learning experiences that we're having in the universities right now. We envision also stronger links with university, industry, and society, and we envision the fact that collaboration becomes the key word when we are talking about science and technology development. So thank you, and happy to discuss.
Thank you very much, Reina. It was very interesting and motivating to hear about these new projects. So I think we can discuss a little bit if there is no questions. So I would like to, I have a point to ask / discuss. It's about the, have you, this LACoNGA program is expecting to do exchange not only from Latin America in the direction with Europe, but also communication in the other way around. Like European students can also try to collaborate with people in Latin America. For example, I know that in Chile, they have very good resources on astronomy for observatories and that kind of things that are not easily found in Europe. So that's more or less the point. It's also possible to do this kind of collaboration for European students.
Yeah. So at the moment, or the way the project has been proposed is that the courses and this one-year master will be implemented in the Latin American universities. So
Okay.
it's mobilization, intra-Latin American mobilization and Latin American Europe, but for the students in Latin America.
Okay.
So it's, the program will not be implemented in Université de Paris or Dresden or Toulouse.
Oh, well, okay, it's not bidirectional. Okay.
Not bidirectional for the students.
I see.
However, one of the
But anyway, the resources that you have, the courses, it's available. It's free available for any European student.
exactly. Yeah. So all the resources will be open. Everything will be open source. One of the points that we actually care more about the project. And one of the things, or one of the innovative things of the project, is that the courses and the syllabus has been divided in what we call mini modules. So instead of having one semester course in quantum field theory, or having one semester course in introduction to electronics, what we have done is divide each course in mini modules of 1 month, and this will actually is more appealing also to get people participating in the network and giving and preparing the classes.
Yeah.
So at the end, what you have is an offer and a syllabus that can be seen as like as a puzzle, because if you are interested in this, then you can put together the different pieces. If you are more interested in theory, then you can put together the pieces more on that side. Or if you are more interested in scientific instrumentation, then you can put together pieces that will give you a profile more on that direction. Exactly.
Yes. Yes. I also, yes, I understand that. I also was wondering because I know here in I don't know if it's in general, but in Strasbourg, I believe the master students starting from the master 1, they will be very interested in a kind of resources that teach them, or where they can learn about programming skills. So I know if they try to find a place where they can find this kind of information, they will probably just go to it. Good.
Yeah, one of the things, as I mentioned, one of the challenges that we saw was exactly that. It was the level of informatics and the level in programming from the students when we were working with CEVALE was not at the level that we were expecting. So this is why one of the pillars of LACoNGA is data science. So we are starting with courses of good practices in programming, and we have a module that is called software engineering. So for this, we are working together with one of the partners, that is the Turing Institute in UK. So they work a lot with reproducible science and good practices for programming. And this is one of the things that we want to teach our students, because like for me, the way it happened was like I learned programming on the go, like while doing my master and my PhD, but I didn't know the good practices. So this is one of the things that for us is important to implement in the program.
Good. Denise, you have something?
Yeah, so maybe it's a bit stupid as a question, but so this is between Latin American universities, but so it's like an official certification level, or is it more or something like students can do on top of their studies?
Yeah, so the way it is, because that's one of the differences also between Europe and Latin America, is that we don't follow the Bologna system. Like here, if you go from one country to the other, it's easy to do the conversion, right? And in Latin America, usually the bachelor is a 5-year bachelor. The master is 2 years, but it's not like in France that you have master 1, master 2. So what we have proposed in this syllabus is the equivalent of the 2nd year of master in the universities that are participating. So the students will follow basic classes during the 1st year of their master, and the 2nd year will be this syllabus and this program that we are proposing. So the way it has been worked, and we did it also with CEVALE, is that the project is inserted at the university. So they will have this kind of additional degree on a particular specialization in either particle physics or complex systems.
And I understand it's...
Sorry. Yeah. Now, one of the things that is important to us is exactly starting this discussion about compatibility between the systems, and having this discussion with the universities that are participating, like how to adapt to the Bologna system, or how to make the translation between one system and the other is important, because it's something that we always see with our students coming from Latin America to Europe. People ask, okay, what does it mean a master in Ecuador? What does it mean a master in Argentina? How do I translate this to the system that we have here?
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good point for QMat, which is an international graduate school. Okay, it's settled in France, but of course we receive students from anywhere, any place in the world, and yes, this is a good point to discuss, especially when you try to, and it's the same, more or less the same, the point of QMat, which is to have a master that have had-ons on research. So yes, it's a good point how to translate this, where to recommend students where to start, which kind of classes to take, and it's very good if they have a good idea by the resources online. So yeah, it's indeed a very good point. So I understand that this year master program, it's also hand-ons on research, or it could be still just courses?
No, you have a component of research, because it includes a 3-month internship.
Okay, good. So here in Strasbourg, we are one of the capitals of Europe, and we of course are having in JIC, or Young Investigators Group, we are having some proposed projects for next year, like European summer schools and that kind of things. I believe that LACoNGA and CEVALE would be very good partners for us to transmit this kind of conference / summer schools to those that are located in Latin America and other places if you, if the project expands more. I mean, even students from Dresden, if they're interested, then you can do a point of connection for share these kind of activities will be super cool. I mean, and Dennis is one of our representatives of the QMat school. So yes, you can feel free to contact him as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I'm
just checking on YouTube. On YouTube, there were 3 people at the end, but there are only 2 now, and I asked if they have questions, and they don't have. So from the YouTube side, we don't have any question. Good.
So I think also anyone who also would like to contact Reina, she's sharing her, the project email account, so people can write them back. And for sure, GEEC QMat will stay on touch in contact with you all. So I believe, yeah, if you have anything else, Dennis, from your side?
I don't. I'm just highlighting it.
So yeah, thank you very much for the presentation again. I'm just going to share before leaving our agenda. So I guess you can see. So we are in the week, sorry?
I was stopping the sharing.
Oh, okay. So the week number 5 will be Professor Shannon Whitlock, who is actually one of the directors of QMat. He will be talking, we don't know yet, will be a surprise. And also a student from, probably from US, from the States. And we will be announcing in the through the normal channels. And then in the week 6, we have Professor Guillaume Weik. He will be talking about topological phases and polarities in cavity waveguides, but that will be on 2nd of July. So everyone feel free to connect and join to us. And afterwards, I think we are going to take a summer break. We'll come back probably in September. So again, thank you very much, Reina, for your talk. Yeah.
So thanks a lot. The talk will be uploaded in the week. I will try to edit some parts, especially the ones that can be boring when we're trying to set up things. But so you can, after that, we'll share it on the social media, so you can share it. You can share it too for people for the most people possible to enjoy. So because now maybe there was not a lot of people, since I guess a lot of people also went. I saw the YouTube drop at around 12 because I think a lot of people went to go to eat. So
yes.
So now they can see it in replay, the rest. Okay, so thanks a lot.
Thanks for the invitation. Have a nice afternoon.
Have a nice afternoon.
Bye-bye.